want Doe to have some big red flags whoever they hire during the football or like that. You know?
Mark Adams tweets, I just spoke with Sister Jean at Ramblers MBB spiritual coach. That was the best 10 minutes I could ever imagine. She is over the moon with pride and joy. What a wonderful lady and what a meaningful conversation to share at such a great moment in her life. And then I add hashtag blessed.
Mark is no longer doing
James
valid
sent
games, so he can move on.
a video of what
It's a shame. I always love having him on.
It was like
Just have to settle for just Mitch Holtis and count the number of times he says America's Renaissance.
That's I was like, well,
It's the Missouri Valley, America's Renaissance
Tucson.
And then you already posted it. They still want a video, but I'm just going to wait later and just like clip it. Cool story, go here, but I'm not going to like next week.
We're gonna include it, yeah, right? You said it with the link.
Had to go, yeah. Yep. Just shot it pixelated from her phone. Yeah, you send it over
Just
cell
post
phone
that.
and stuff.
Yes.
Look at this. I was like, what do you wait? Let's see what they got. Because I couldn't even make out who all was in it. I just saw Alfonso with the name come up, but I couldn't see like Clinton and all them.
I can't remember.
It's so blurry.
There's no need to fear, hell in his ears.
She said, Jamal Scott and Nick Wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come back, we'll win.
What the?
Did you see the big guy?
David gonna be here?
Short ears, I know, like 3 times, and I was like, what?
No, I think you thought that he meant Daniel Harris, the AD.
Yeah.
Doug Harris.
Yeah, when I went over there and it's held down, because I was getting all the, in fact, I missed like part of Drew's takedown because my phone just kept blowing up, and I was like, what is going on? And then I'm like, oh, a takedown, and all these messages, what is going on? So I finally walked over there, and the woman looked mortified.
Lester's apparently working on a bounce throw to first.
Hey, on turf?
If it works.
On turf, you'd be fine.
No, it's like they say about the sports superstitions. It's only crazy if it doesn't work.
That's right. Do we have any materials at all? Work on. That's plenty. A lot of practice. Why don't you want to come on, what do you have to do with that? When you going to,
Well,
let's see.
It sounds like we're gonna do Thursday.
During most of the matches, sat on the other side.
Wednesday's
Oh
probably
my
better.
gosh, like the Okie State
What if we did
cheering
tomorrow,
from the
just
back
like
side
you
was
do
just
a
getting to be way
segment
too
on the
much.
tournament?
And then,
Yeah.
at first they didn't want to throw the cameras or angles. Plus I was missing all the good stuff, like, cause you
Just
should do
do,
the showers with the coaches and stuff. So finally, for the last, like,
Let's plan
the
on
consolation ones, I went to the
4:35
other side.
segment.
Okay.
Watch it from there,
Phone,
and then
do it by phone, or you want to come in the studio? Be okay.
Is connecting through the equipment an option?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Set it up at home?
Yeah, I should be able to do it at home.
Oh, yeah, you
So I mean,
just-
that'll be the primary option. If that doesn't work, I'll just call them
Yeah,
on.
just tie into your internet.
Yeah.
I've done my radio show from my house doing it that way, it works good.
Yeah, the only reason I was asking is like, well, if he's not saying it's an option, is he doing the show from home on Tuesday?
No, in fact, let's say it snowed in or iced in or something. No, I
Which
can't.
in theory is possible.
I can't, I got my, some players reporting tomorrow to move into their house. They got where I want to go 4:05, I'll text you.
Yeah. Yeah, keep the lines open.
Yep. Well, there's the bracket. Not a bad spot to
Well,
come
I
in
always
from.
start it, but it won't actually.
Toughest thing about that game is that you wait all
It won't
day
actually
to play it, but I still think that's one or two always
Does that make sense?
the preference, but that's gotta be 8:30 Eastern time.
No, Central.
Yeah, sidearm.
All the times are
How
Central.
come so late?
It
Oh, no,
won't.
that's right, the guys do it.
Yeah.
That's right. It's-
Yeah, because they had that little bit of a break in between the two
Yes.
sessions.
You got a little sun, huh?
How's that place set up for the games and stuff? Is it good setup?
Yeah, it's all right.
Did you like St. Charles better? The
I
fact-
think for the most part, I like Quad Cities better, especially just that the hotels and the arena, everything's all kind of right together as opposed to like basically being two separate sites of the arena and where you're staying. The only issue I think with Quad Cities is just because there's so many people there that are using the internet for different things that the broadcast doesn't always come out great. You know, plus they might put it where it's on like one court a table, and like some beat writer gets there first and takes it.
Then what do you do?
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome everyone today to the UNI press conference. First up today will be women's basketball and head coach Tanya Warren. The Panthers will be the number 3 seed for the MVC tournament, Hoops in the Heartland. UNI will take on number 6 seed Illinois State Friday at 8:30 at the Tax Layer Center in Moline. Next up, head coach Tanya Warren.
Thanks, Colin. Extremely happy and pleased with how we finished the regular season. I think we finished winning 6 straight road games. This is the 9th consecutive years our program has won 17 or more games. We're the only team in the Valley to finish in the top half of the league 9 consecutive years, and we're the only team on both the men and the women's side to win 10 or more Valley games 9 consecutive years. So extremely pleased with the performance of this young group. You know, I talked at our very first press conference, I talked a lot about patience and staying true to the process, and this team certainly did that. You know, early on, you get really excited when you beat an Iowa State and a K-State, and then you're somewhat disappointed in some games that you really felt you had a chance to win that you let slip away. Creighton being one of those, Southern being another one of those at their place. But when you stop and you really look at the overall picture, you know, I heard somebody say, you win and you learn. And we certainly learned a lot when you look at the progress of this young team throughout the course of the season. So extremely pleased and very satisfied with what this young team was able to do, led by Megan Maas, who I think had a Valley 12 double-doubles, I believe. Obviously, I thought we got great contributions as the season progressed off of our bench with Nicole Kroger, and Carly did a great job. Bree Gunnels had a season-high 8 points over the weekend. Taylor continues to give us tremendous minutes. And then you talk about what Michaela and Ellie both do defensively for this team. This young team really came along. So again, extremely proud and very pleased with the consistency in which this program has been able to do what it has done. Illinois State, we just played them a couple weeks ago. They're very, very good. They're well coached. They have a great inside presence in Goods, who I believe has a great chance to win Newcomer of the Year, has put up great numbers. And then they have one of the best overall defensive players in Hannah Green. Not only can she defend and led the Valley in blocks, but she's a nightmare in terms of matching up with her ability to shoot the three, her athleticism in terms of being able to put it on the floor. She can post. And they have some really good shooters as well. So we know it was a dogfight here. I think anytime you play teams 3 times. You know each other extremely well, and in my opinion, it's going to come down to who executes the best, especially down the stretch. Are there any questions?
Is there any difference to how you're going to prepare for the tournament this year, either with how late the game is on Friday, or as opposed to the last couple of years, knowing who you play now as opposed to waiting for one of those first round games?
That's a good question. We will try to keep Friday as game-like in terms of what we do game day-wise as possible. With our shoot-around, our pregame, everything will be the same, just a little bit later. Any other questions?
Yeah, Coach, playing that 3-6 game, it's a long wait during the day to finally get to that game. What do you do to keep your team sharp and prepared for an 8:30 tip?
Well, like I said, we're going to do everything that we do for 7 o'clock tip. It's just going to be a little later. So we'll go about our day. We'll get up. We'll have breakfast. The 25th anniversary brunch is that morning. We will attend that. We'll do study table. We'll have our shoot around. It'll be a little bit later. And then we'll go to our pregame. And we'll go watch some of the games early on in the day and just make sure we get off of our feet. But try to keep it as normal as possible in terms of that 8:30 game.
With Drake having the year they did, they'd probably be the prohibitive favorite to win this. So coming in from that bottom side where you wouldn't see them till the finals, you like the way this bracket laid out for you?
Well, I do, but the thing about it is we all know it. You have to literally survive in advance. That is a true statement. And everybody's playing really good basketball right now, and I don't think you can really overlook anyone. It literally is a one-game series, and that will be our approach as we start practice tomorrow. We'll talk about nothing else but Illinois State, and that is the only team right now that's on our mind. And that's the way we have to look at it. We can't look ahead, but we just have to stay focused on Illinois State. And whatever else happens after that, we'll be prepared for that as well.
And you're battling that old adage of beating the same team 3 times during the same season. Just your thoughts on trying to beat Illinois State for the 3rd time.
You know, like I said, it was a grind here, and I know one thing for us, with having just played them a couple weeks ago, I know their personnel will be fresh in our kids' mind. I think that's an advantage. I think both teams will add and delete some stuff, both offensively and defensively, and I think both teams know each other well. It's really going to be a matter of who can get the nerves out early and who can execute down the stretch.
And you've won 9 of your last 11 games, so you've got to feel like you're playing your best basketball of the year?
I think we are. You look at what we've been able to do over the last 5 weeks, this team has just steadily progressed, and that's what you want this time of year. So I feel really good about how we're playing, especially on the offensive end. We've done a very good job as of late of eliminating empty possessions and valuing the basketball and being able to score inside out, and we're getting great contributions from a variety of people. So hopefully we can carry that into Friday.
And because it's Illinois State, that's who your opponent is, what are some specific keys because of the personnel and the things they do for that game on Friday?
Well, we have to be able to defend one-on-one because, like I said, they have one of the best post players in the league, and I'm pretty confident that she will be newcomer of the year. If she isn't, we need to re-vote because she's very, very talented. Not only can she score on the block, but she can put the ball on the floor from the high post. She's a nightmare. And then they have Hannah Green, who can post. She's 6'1", 6'2", and she can shoot the 3, very fluent. They have a really good freshman guard that can shoot the 3. So you got to be able to defend one-on-one and understand when you do help, where your help comes from. And then we have to make sure that we rotate not only to defend the 3, but we also have to be able to defend the drive and stay out of foul trouble.
It's a team deal, but who do you think on your team is deserving of some postseason individual honors?
Well, I think when you look at Megan Moss, it's a no-brainer. I mean, she leads the league in double-doubles with 12. I think Ellie Howe has had a good year, and what people don't understand is they're going to base everything on what she did a year ago. Well, I mean, she had off-season surgery and didn't start practice till December, and it still doesn't practice the entire week, but has done a really good job of allowing herself to get into the flow of the game and not forcing anything. And I think what Michaela Morgan has done defensively, and I know everyone gets caught up in steals and rebounds and all of those things, but when you look at the fact that we as a team are one of the best, top 2, if not the best, in terms of defensive field goal three-point field goal and points allowed, and Michaela Morgan always guards our opponent's best perimeter defender, our offensive player. And 16 out of the 18 games, we have held our opponent's best player under her average. There's something to be said about that. I don't think you should penalize our kids because we don't. Our system is not built on getting steals. Our system is built on being solid and forces team to play to their weaknesses. And I don't think kids should be penalized for that when we only look at steals and rebounds.
Can you just, I know you've talked about her before, but how much has Kennedy Kirkpatrick's growth into that point guard role meant to your team?
Well, as I said, you can't put a price tag on experience. And when you're able to put a kid in at the point guard position who has played collegiately and has great experience, there's something to be said about that, because we all knew coming into this, you're not going to be able to replace Madison Weekly and everything that she was able to bring. But I do think Kennedy did a great job of stepping in and with her experience and really starting to took it to heart to understand what we needed from her from a leadership standpoint, and she has done a tremendous job, especially the last 5 weeks, of understanding when to get her teammates the ball and where they can score. I can't tell you the value of having someone with her experience to fill in for Madison Weekly. It has been tremendous for us, and we've needed her.
Is there also some impact on your freshmen who will be moving into that role in the future?
Well, I think Carly's played great for us. She's done a really good job of coming in off the bench and giving us really good minutes. She's going to have to continue to grow in the leadership part of it in terms of vocal, but I really like the progress that she has made throughout the course of the season. And the number one thing is you can't put a price tag on the experience, and the experience that she has gotten throughout the course of the season will certainly help her as she leads this team next year. It will be her team.
Are you harder on your point guards maybe than you are on the kids in the other positions?
No ifs and buts about it. Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Next up, UNI softball head coach Ryan Jacobs. Panthers went 4-1 at the Belmont Bruins Classic in Nashville, Tennessee. This week, the Panthers will journey to Lawrence, Kansas to take part in the Jayhawk Invitational. Panthers sporting a 13-7 overall record. Next up, Ryan Jacobs.
Coming home from Nashville yesterday, reflected on the weekend a little bit. If it wasn't for one inning, it would have been a great weekend. But overall, it was a good weekend. We got ourselves back on track offensively a little bit. In the pitching circle, Brooke Craig and Jackie Spencer did a great job for us this weekend. And so did Emma Olenczak. Like I said, it was just the one inning. We put up 5 runs against Belmont and kind of thought it was in the bag. And I guess it was a learning experience for some of our younger kids that even though you just put a 5 spot on somebody, doesn't mean that they can't turn around and do it right back to you. And you got to make sure that you're ready to close the door on a team. And we weren't ready to do that. Walks and errors will kill you. They always do. And they certainly kill you when they come in bunches and you have multiple walks and multiple errors in one inning. And we allowed Belmont to take advantage of the situation, and they did. But we responded on Sunday. I feel like it was a good learning experience for them, maybe a little bit more of an eye-opener than losing to an Alabama or a Florida State, just because you feel like you had a little bit more control in the situation and you let your guard down. So I think overall a good learning experience for us this weekend. And we're going to have to build on that going forward. This week we've got to go back inside and get our work in. We were hoping for a little bit better weather when we got back to maybe get outside and get some things done, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to, so we'll be back inside and hopefully sharpen up on some things, get ready for this weekend going down to Kansas. We're going to face some really good competition down there as well with Nebraska, KU, Tulsa, and then we've got Wisconsin, Green Bay, and UMKC, both teams that we played the first week of the season. So I think every game that we're going to play down there is going to be a good gauge for us to see kind of where we're at. Obviously, with the Big 12 teams and the Big 10 teams, we're going to get a good challenge. And we've also got a couple teams that we've played already early that we'll kind of see you know, have we made some strides forward? Have we done some things better? You know, and seeing where they've gone as well, kind of match up with, you know, a team that you played early in the year and see where we're at this point. Obviously, UMKC got the best of us in that first weekend at home, so looking forward to playing them again. But the biggest thing for us is to, you know, just to continue that early season process of getting as many games in as we can. I think we've spread out our at-bats across the board to a lot of different people. A lot of people are getting opportunities, creating some really good depth in our program and our team right now, and looking forward to continuing that. I think being versatile, we have that ability to move people around and getting people as much experience at the plate as we possibly can. I think maybe 2 of the 3 games, or 2 of the 5 games this weekend, I think almost every person played in each game. So it's good to see everybody contributing and accepting their role and being ready for their number when it's called on. So, any questions?
What are some of those things that this week you want to try and clean up or shore up, fix up a little bit before you go this weekend?
Well, I think overall, offensively, we need to clean up. Not really clean up, but just get a little bit more of an aggressive mindset. I think, you know, when the ball is thrown over the plate, there's no question that they're ready to hit those pitches. But the better pitching that we've seen so far and that we've struggled with a little bit is able to nibble those corners a little bit and get those borderline calls. And we're not swinging at those early in the count. And that's when an umpire is going to give that to a really good pitcher. That's the pitch you got to look for. Even though it may not look great to you, you got to be able to handle it and do your work with it. And I think that's where we need to expand a little bit. We have to definitely clarify it. We don't want to start swinging crazy at everything, but we need to know that we can hit that pitch. We need to know that we can do damage with that pitch. And instead of it looking bad, we need to know if we've got to adjust, and that's got to be the pitch we're looking for today, then we can be able to hit it. I think that's the big thing offensively. In the circle, I feel like we just still need to stay sharp. We need to continue to aim small and miss small, compete, throw hard. I feel like our velocities maybe were down a little bit this week, but be able to continue to move the ball and locate. That's the one thing that our pitchers did early really well, is locate and making sure that we stay sharp there. Not a lot we can do defensively with everything going on in the dome this week, so we're going to have to kind of maybe go back to basics and do some fundamental stuff, some mechanics work, some glove work, some things like that, and stay sharp as we can and make sure that our legs and our feet aren't getting heavy. So do a lot of things like that, be creative, but across the board, that's what we're looking to do in all of our aspects there.
This team isn't loaded with home run hitters. You got 5 home runs in 20 games. Is it more of a small ball type team, bunting, stealing? Is that the way you manufacture more runs?
It seems to get this team a lot more excited than it ever has before. I don't know if it's because we focused on it a little bit more than we ever have, but we've been getting things going a lot more with a sac bunt or a hit and run or reading a dirt ball. Something like that gets this team a little bit more energized and fired up than the long ball. And obviously, I don't think the swings that we're taking right now are gonna create too many long balls. I do think once we get back home and we get a little bit of wind and some things that happen that way, and we get a little bit more comfortable with taking more aggressive hacks, I think they'll come around. I don't think this is going to be a team that sets the home run record or anything, but I think it'll be very competitive, and we'll hit our fair share of them. But it's not something that, right now we're sitting back and waiting for a 2 or 3 run homer. I feel like when we get base runners, we got to be ready to execute and do some things and move people around. But the number of RBIs that we have right now at this point in the season is way better than we have ever had before. I mean, we've got a couple of kids already at 15 or more. And across the board, it's spread out. I mean, we're almost at 100 RBIs already. And if you look at some of the other offensive teams in our league, they're probably, not quite there yet. So from a scoring runs standpoint, we're still scoring runs. We're scoring a lot of runs. We're leaving a lot of people on base as well, but I think from that home run standpoint, yeah, it's sure frustrating to me because I like seeing the ball go out of the ballpark, but I also like seeing runs go up on board. So we're just trying to figure out how to do things well. I think six out of 7 hit and runs we've executed this year. I don't know that we've tried 7 hit and runs in past years. So like I said, this team gets energized by that, and as long as we keep executing it, it might be something that has other teams in our league have to make an adjustment on us, and so might create a little problem for other people.
In past years, Ryan, you've had teams that kind of like sit back and wait, maybe to the middle innings. You kind of gauge your competition. With this team, the numbers show you get pretty aggressive pretty early. Is that kind of a point of emphasis this year?
I feel like the top of our order is kind of our go-to right now. The top 3 kids in our order are the ones that kind of are spark, and they have the ability to do that right out of the gate. I think some of the other hitters in our lineup like to kind of test the waters a little bit before they get after it. Those 3 definitely don't need that. They're ready to go right from the get-go. So getting out to a good start with them gives those other kids confidence right away. But those 3 at the top of there's not a pitch that those 3 don't like very often. So they're ready to go, and it kind of gets our offense jump-started that way.
Going into this past weekend, you'd lost 5 in a row. How good was it just to see your team bounce back and win 4 of 5?
It was great to see. It was great to see that they didn't lose their confidence. They didn't see. They're not looking at the wins and losses. They're just showing up every day and doing the right things and playing the game the right way. Listening to us as coaches saying that wins and losses will take care of themselves in the right way if you handle your business every day in the right way. So it's good to see that and reinforce that to them, and hopefully we'll have even a better week of practice this week as we prepare for another tough weekend. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Microphone all figured out again.
Coach.
Hi, Ryan.
Good to see you.
You too. Wish we were getting ready for practice. I know everybody does. Why don't we just go ahead and get with the questions? Yeah, let's do that. I'm sure you got a couple. Go ahead, Gary.
Loyola wins it, and
Yeah.
you played them a 4-point game. I mean, you got to feel like you were right there to make that run this week.
We were. There's no question, and that gets. We were playing good enough going in. I know I talked about that a lot before we got down there. That was we were playing our best basketball. We had that great run November, December, but when things got really hard early in conference play, we didn't respond well enough, and we figured it out with whatever it was. If it was 3 weeks or a month, we figured it out, and we were playing well enough. We needed to make a couple more plays. I could have done 2 or 3 things better and different in that game against Loyola. That would have helped us, and I know our guys feel like they had a play or 2 in them that could have helped us. So it was a team deal, and I was a bigger part of that, the biggest part of that in a lot of ways. And so I wish I would have done 1, 2, or 3 things different, because I feel like our team was playing well enough and with the kind of confidence that you need to win a semifinal game and win a championship game, and then we're, like I said, we're getting ready for practice. So no complaints with the way the guys finished the season. Proud of them for staying on it when things weren't going well. I know I've touched on that, but as I thought about it the last 2 days, proud of them for that, because it could have really got out of hand, and it didn't. And you want to have as good a year as you can. You like everything to go great, and you want to be at the top of the conference standings all year long. There's no question about that. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. But regardless of how it goes during that January, February, you need to be playing your best at the end, so you have a chance, and that was the case this year. So, yeah, other than getting that win against Loyola and getting to that semifinal game, really feel good about the way the guys ended the season.
Just your thoughts on Porter Moser and Loyola, the team that came in and replaced Creighton a number of years ago, them having the year they did and going to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they're they don't make mistakes, and that's I think they are going to have a chance to win. Maybe not just a first round game, maybe more than that. I think you get a lot of people talking right now. We don't want to see this team in the first round, or hey, this team could win a first round game. I don't necessarily look at it that way. I mean, I think in Loyola's case, and it's with some other teams as well, but Loyola's good enough to win, and a lot of that is because they don't make mistakes. And as soon as you do as an opponent, as soon as you open that door just a little bit, they blow through it. And it could be a 3-possession stretch. It could be a 8-possession stretch. It could be 2 minutes, could be 4, whatever that time is. When you make a mistake, they blow through that door, and all of a sudden you're down 6, and then you can play even they'll play even. But then when you make another mistake, they're going to blow that thing open too, and because they just don't make very many at either end. So they've got a good enough roster, and they don't make mistakes, and are hard to guard. They got a skill level, and they can move that ball around, and they get that thing going, and you're chasing them everywhere, and they're really hard to guard. So it's gonna be fun to watch them. Yeah, fun to watch them.
With losing the 4 seniors, was there any discussion or thought at all about any of the other postseason tournaments, or are they even still around? The CIT or?
Yeah, those tournaments are still around. We will not play in them. No, so we will not play in them this year. No.
Going forward, what do you have to do to get back to the top of this league?
Yeah, it's we weren't I've had enough. It hasn't been long, but I've had enough time to think about a lot of the different things, and that being one of them. You could make a pretty good case, Doug, that we weren't far off. I think there were, if I'm not mistaken, 3 games that were double figures. I think everything else was under 10. The home game, we got off to a tough start. The home game with Southern to start the year was a tie game, I think, with 90 seconds left. The home game with Loyola, a couple games later, we were up 4, had the ball, and had a layup that didn't go in. That put us up 6 with about 2.5 to go. And they ended up making a couple of big shots and beat us in a 1-possession game. So you could make that case that with a little bit better play here at home to start the season. We had some leads in the second half. At Bradley, we were ahead to start the second half. At Indiana State, we were ahead to start the second half. There were some other games where the game was tied at halftime, or at Southern, who finished second, at Loyola, who finished first. Those games were close for a long time. So you could make that case, which is certainly part of it. I've always preferred, I guess, to make the other case that we have to get better. And that'll be our message with the guys. I think our seniors did a terrific job this year, given the situation we put ourselves in. They fought hard, and we had a chance to get to the NCAA tournament because we were playing good enough. We had a good enough team, and we were playing good enough. So I give our seniors a lot of credit for that. Now, in order to be a championship team, you've got to do things at a high level every day. And so whether that is this spring, this summer, this fall, to start conference play when the games get really hard. We had that great November and December, and we had a lot of guys playing with a lot of confidence and playing very well. The conference games are hard, because everybody knows everybody. You know, we didn't respond well enough to those hard games. So that means we got to get better. You know, that means we've got to take. I think our guys take a good approach, but we're going to have to take a better approach in the off season, so that we earn. You know, you've got to earn that edge. You know, I thought that in those two games that I talked about, I thought Southern and Loyola had a little bit of an edge to them. You know, they wanted to get up. They wanted to get ahead of Northern Iowa or ahead of whomever. They wanted to get ahead in the league standings, and they had a little bit of an edge to them. So we've got to earn that edge this spring, this summer, this fall. I believe we've got the right kind of guys to do it, Doug. I feel really good about our guys. But we have to understand that the process takes a heck of a commitment, and it's got to be a daily commitment. And that's where that difference comes in.
You got a couple scholarships to work with. When you look at the guys you lost, you got A.J. Green coming in. What are kind of maybe some immediate needs you'd like to try and fulfill as far as personnel roster-wise?
Yeah, you know, the spot that's most glaring would be Clint's position. You know, that's the one that. And there's some different ways we can go. You saw our team this year when we went smaller with Ty and Isaiah. What would be at the 3 and the 4, really just having 4 guards out there like we did with Paulie and Jeremy and Wes and Bo. And we did that some this year, and that would be available to us. And, you know, Isaiah and Ty are both going to be better players a year from now and much more ready for that. And we've got the majority. Hunter graduates, but everyone else is back when you look at that point guard position, the combo spot, the off guard spot. So we're going to have guys there with experience. So going smaller is on the table. It's saying that we need to be a little more. That we've got to be a little more physical. We've got to be better defensively. We've got to be better in terms of rebounding. You think about Yarborough from Illinois State. You know, we've got to be able to defend him better. You know, there's some other guys in our league. When you look at some of the teams that what they return, so that position is one that we've got to strengthen that spot. And we've got 2 scholarships to do it. And, if we can find somebody that can come in and immediately, because they have experience, immediately impact that position on our team, we're looking at all options there, and then also looking at some high school guys like we do all the time. And seeing if we can add a really good high school guy, kind of similar in that position. Because the guys at the center spot with Fife and Luke and Justin Dahl, I mean, we got 3 guys there that can play. And depending on who we're playing against or how it goes, 2 of those guys, Fife and Luke, are both skilled enough they can be on the floor together. It just changed it a little bit defensively, but we got some guys at that center spot, and we got everybody but Hunter is back with all those guards. And as you mentioned, you add AJ to that group. So it's really that power forward, combo forward type of guy that we've got to get shored up.
With just the one senior next year in White, do you plan on playing as competitive a non-conference schedule as you did this past year?
Oh man, we'd love to. It's just you know the deal there. We'd love to. If we could have that same schedule every year, no matter who's on our team, yeah, we would take it every single year, no matter what our roster looks like. It's almost impossible. Nets is working on it all year round, and we're working on it again. All the last couple months, like we always do. We'll keep hammering away at it, and I hope we can get some of those games, but it's not going to look like last year's. Some of that stuff fell together right for us, which was great. We're going to St. Thomas to play in the Paradise Jam, and there's going to be good teams in that tournament, so that part of it's good. But the Carolina game, the Xavier game, some of those are off the table. The home and home is done, or the 2-for-1, those are done now, and we'd love to be able to, sign them up again, but it's hard to get those games, especially here at home. Anybody else? All right, thanks.
Jake. Next up, UNI Wrestling head coach Doug Schwab. Panthers took second at the Big 12 championships. Two Big 12 champions, Taylor Lujan and Drew Foster. Panthers have 6 automatic qualifiers for the NCAA championships in Cleveland. Next up, head coach Doug Schwab.
All right. See Michelle Van Dorn, rock star, back there. Getting in about 7 this morning and back to work. We got to get her a raise, assistant, or both. Figure out how to do that. I want to thank David Harris for coming down and Justin Schimmel. It's important to have those guys down there with us, and we appreciate that support. The fans that came down. I can tell you next year we want to get more purple in the stands. It's in Tulsa the next 2 years. I thought they did a great job of running the tournament. Try to make it as much like kind of a national tournament environment as possible. Had a great stage for the finals. Have a big arena, have a good crowd. So we'll figure out something to get a bunch more purple down there next year, because it's certainly a tournament worth going to. As far as me, man, my biggest victory, I'll tell you, wasn't on the mat. Thursday, my mom went up to Mayo. She's been having 6 rounds of chemo and evidence-free of cancer. So, man, so hard for me not to smile all weekend and feel good about that. And certainly not out of the woods yet, but, you know, all the victories we had this weekend, for me, that was, man, my victory was already on Thursday. And anybody that's fighting out there, man, anything that you can send, prayers, messages, I tell you what, it made a difference for my mom. And I know it makes a difference for anyone else out there fighting. So I'm part of that family now. And I think it affects us and impacts us all. But I wanted to make sure people knew that. And I want to thank anybody that has reached out to me or my mom, my family, because it does make a difference. So thank you. And certainly some incredible news. And hopefully it stays that way. As far as our team, you know, I mean, having 2 Big 12 champs, obviously a great thing, the first 2 in our history. Second place as a team, but, you know, when you look at the gap between first and second, I don't know, in my head we start trying to figure out how to close that gap. And obviously more guys in the finals scoring more points up and down is a big piece of that. You know, 6 guys to the national tournament, we can certainly do some damage with that. I thought some of those guys that were on the fringe gave themselves opportunities. You know, a guy like Isaiah Patton, he gave himself a chance. You know, he's in a match to go to the national tournament. Coming in, I don't know anyone other than us believed he was going to be in that spot. You know, so great for him being able to fight back and get a couple wins and get himself in that opportunity. You know, Logan Ryan, I thought, wrestled really well. Started to figure out how to get to some offense. And how he's going to get some offense, so that's something that we can certainly use for the future. Jack Wagner, we got to get him bigger and stronger. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, he was in on a lot of attacks. The thing about him is I've been impressed with is he's had a rough year. In our conference in 33 is a bear, one of the best weights that we have. But he went out and battled every single time. And came back with a good attitude, and you know what, he's going to have a good spring, summer, and fall, and he's going to come back a bigger, stronger, and better competitor next year. I'm excited for him and what he's going to bring these next 3 years to the program. And Carter Isley, man, some flashes of incredible attacks. You know, I mean, he does it within every match. Now, for him, it's being able to do it a second or third time within a match. You know, I'm talking about the 4 guys that didn't go, but those guys are just as important as the 6 guys that are going. They all went to battle. They all went to war for this team. They all scored points for the team to get that second place finish. You know, 25. Shorm had a couple pins. I think he's pinned like 14 or 15 guys this year. That's huge to have a guy that can score bonus points like that. And I was thinking about our bonus points, and you know, I think that's another thing that we have to be able to do. We have to be able to put some more guys away, and we have to be able to score bonus points in more situations. If we do want a tournament like that, or you want to win a national tournament, you got to have, I think, more than 2 pins to be able to do that. He was able to get those 2 pins. He beat a guy that beat him from Oklahoma a couple times. So anytime when you turn matches around, that's always a really good thing. Wrestled, I think, the 7th-ranked kid for the 3rd and 4th place match, and had opportunities to win that match. So like how he's competing. Liked how he responded. He lost to the quarterfinals. Then you respond, you win 3 straight matches. That's a really good thing to get momentum. Elber, come back and get third, he always fights back. That's one thing about Josh Elber. He always battles every single time. And lost the semifinal match to a guy that's two-time defending national champion. That guy's hard to score on. He hit a double. Man, he hit an incredible double, and I don't know if I've ever said that. I think he spiked him too hard. I mean, that usually doesn't happen where you get in, you spike a guy too hard. But, you know, the guy was able to scramble out of it, and good by him, but Elber is right there. You know, it's something where you get hot in the right weekend, and 41 is a deep weight where there's a lot of guys who are very evenly matched, and it's about being in the right frame of mind at the right time. And even though he ended up third in that tournament, he ended up behind two really good guys. I liked how he competed this weekend. I liked the fire that he had. I liked how he came back and got third. That's absolutely critical that you're able to do that. You're able to rebound. Max, got to be able to clear a collar tie. I mean, there's some things that beat him in that match, and then you got to be able to make adjustments within a match. I mean, guy beat him. I mean, plain and simple in the final match. You know, you don't always have your best performance sometimes on the big stage, but the great thing is you're going to have another opportunity in 10 days, and you know you got to be able to move forward. I kind of told him, I said, we got to leave that one there. You just leave that one there, and once you leave that arena, we move on to Cleveland, and that's what he did. 57, 65, 74. 74 won the tournament. Great job. Semifinal, well, it was a battle. I don't know if anybody saw that match, but some crazy scrambles, some crazy positions with a guy that's really, really explosive, and that's where he just got to stay on his offense, kind of like he did last night. He went and scored again and kind of iced the match. That's what he's got to be able to do, and do it more, and really trust that he can go score with his attacks, because he's got great attacks. He can scramble really, really well too, but man, his attacks are even better. So good for him to break through, beat a guy that actually in the dual meet was a much tighter match. I thought controlled it well, got him riding time 163, was able to get our first title. Drew Foster, solid all weekend. Semifinals, got put to his back, got behind, but didn't panic. And I think that's absolutely critical for us to be able to have successes. We don't panic in any situation. Even if we get thrown to our back, even if we get behind, we know that we can come back and score points. And he got thrown to his back, got escape right at the end of the first period, got escape again, scored again, now he's back ahead. So that's as long as we don't lose our head in those situations, we're going to be in really good shape. You know, when chaos is and everything's crashing in around us, that we can stay calm and composed, and that's what he was able to do. So really like how he's competing. He's had quite a string of wins, you know, together. I don't think he's lost since the Scuffle finals. You know, when you start putting 10, 12, 13 match win streak together, you know, you start. I don't know if anybody can beat me. I'm not sure where any of our guys are going to be seated, but it doesn't really matter. You know, I mean, we've earned the spots that we'll get, and then we'll scrap from there. And then Hochschlag, I got to be careful sometimes what I say about officiating, because I know you got to be aware of that stuff. I personally thought he had a takedown in that semifinal match. You know, he cut the corner, his hips are on top, even though the guy's still underneath the leg. To me, that's a score, and I think it's 50-50. You know, we happen to have a ref that didn't call it too. So I mean, he's one position away from being in the finals. But then, you know, with that, go get yourself another opportunity, though. You know, if you don't convert that one, then you got to convert another one. But I've seen that called points. You know, so all of a sudden you put another guy in the finals, maybe have another champ instead of, you know, he ends up fourth place. But thing about Hogg is he battles tooth and nail and scraps for everything, every single time, every single match. And guys know they're in for a war every time. So was proud of how our guys competed, how they represented the program in our first Big 12 tournament. I think it was for me, you know, someone asked, well, are you happy with the move? Absolutely. Very happy that we moved to the Big 12, because the Big 12 is looking big time for wrestling. I'm looking to elevate and have something that can somewhat compete with Big 10. And we need that. We need to have that battle, absolutely battle-tested, where you're having semifinals where that could be a semifinals of the national tournament. That's what we want to have. We want to have those matches. We want to have those matches at the conference, so then when we get to nationals, we're like, well, we're used to these matches, because that's what the Big Ten has right now. I mean, you look at quarterfinal, you look at semifinal, you look at final matches, and they're like, well, that's what's going to happen in the national tournament. I could tell you that's the way the coaches are thinking in the Big 12, and that's what it's going to keep getting elevated. So happy that we're there. Look forward to getting more purple down to Tulsa these next couple years and try to drown out a little bit of that orange, because there's a whole lot of it down there. Other than that, I don't anticipate us getting any wild cards, just with where our guys ended up, with their ranking, their RPI, and those things. I don't see that happening. Obviously, we'd love if we got a surprise, but I think the 6 guys that have qualified right now will be the 6 guys that are going to Cleveland, and we'll have 10 days to get them ready. We'll leave next Tuesday, so 8 days from now we'll leave and we'll be on our way to Cleveland. Any questions?
Coming off the weekend, just a day out of it, does it stick with you more, the 4 guys that didn't make it or the 6 guys that did make it? What kind of...
Well, I mean, I'm all about moving forward, you know, and when it's a short turnaround, you know, I mean, not that you're thinking about both guys. I mean, I want to see how some of these guys respond. You know, what kind of teammates are they? You know, are they going to feel sorry for themselves and, oh, I didn't make it, so, well, my season's done? Or, you know, we still got 6 other guys that are going to war. We got 6 other guys that are representing not just themselves, they're representing the team. That's part of them out there. And so, you know, I want to see how these guys respond. I know they'll respond the right way. I know that they'll be there right there with their teammates, still pushing them, still trying to make them better, still getting something out of it, because they can still get better in this time. Because obviously we got some space to cover to close some of those gaps for those guys. But I mean, it's just important that we're able to move forward. Not that it doesn't hurt. I mean, it's painful. You know, when some of their dreams are shattered, I mean, you feel it too. I mean, man, it's such a draining experience going through those tournaments and those events. I mean, it's just because it's such an emotional roller coaster, and you're up 1, and you're down 1, and you got someone in the back crying after a match, and then, you know, you got another guy that's smiling after the match. You got everywhere in between, but that's something where you got to stay steady. You know, kind of captain that ship keeps everything steady, and we'll keep them firmly fixed on. They're still getting ready and getting their teammates ready for the national tournament, and that doesn't change. It doesn't change for anybody that's not going. You know, I think sometimes guys get it confused that, well, we only got 6 guys going. No, we still have all guys going. All of our guys, they're all part of what's going on. And we're still, every single one of those guys is out there with those teammates. You know, so they got to keep pouring into them even these next 9-10 days.
What will you do with? I mean, it's not this weekend. It's the next weekend. You got some time. What approach do you take with the guys that have qualified?
Couple days. We'll take a couple days off. We'll have a short. I can tell you, we'll have a short individual day. We'll get a little scrapping in. Probably wrestle one other time short, and you know, really, it's just about getting their mind in the right place right now. You know, see if we have any dings. You know, fortunately, we've stayed fairly healthy as a team, I think, because they've done a really good job of keeping themselves up all year. They've stuck to the lifting plan for whole years, and it keeps you healthy. They're keeping themselves. I guess they're keeping themselves up. You know, not letting themselves go in any way, and in maybe not peak shape, but just, you know, living a good lifestyle. And I think that helps. That helps from injuries. But if we got a guy beat up, then, you know, really it's just. We just pat him on the back. I mean, we wouldn't have to really do anything now. I mean, the work's really done. It's just they need something mentally to be sharp, and we'll put a little edge on guy, and the edge really just comes from them and believing that they're ready. And I tell you what, I've seen guys, and I've been around enough. I've watched guys that haven't won or got 4th in a conference tournament go win a national title 10 days later, 12 days later. So man, things can get turned around like that. Matches can get turned around like that. It's about really getting hot at the right time and getting the right frame of mind at the right time. It happens every year. And it's why not our guys? I mean, they've put the work in. They're right there. They can do it. I mean, why not? Why not that guy? I mean, sometimes you just got to find, you know, we talk about 7 minutes or 420 seconds. That's all I got to be better than a guy. One time for that period of time, that's all I have to find. And they can find it. They can find it against anybody. And they just have to believe that when they step on the mat in Cleveland. And we'll have them ready to do that. They'll have themselves ready to do that.
You touched on it early, but just a little more thought on finishing second. I know there's the gap between you and Oklahoma State, but when it's 12 teams competing and you in your first time in it, you're the team runner-up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's impressive. Just what do you think?
Second's better than third. I'd say that. I'd rather been second than third. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I look at that big gap. I mean, I'm proud of our team because we fought for every point. You know, every point mattered. I didn't think we beat South Dakota State by a couple of points, so obviously every point added up and made a difference to be able to get that. But I don't know. I want to be able to maximize how many points that we can get out of our guys. If we have every guy and they compete to their absolute best, and that's what we end up, then I can be like, okay. But I don't feel like there was that. I don't think we competed to our absolute best. And I don't know if I'll ever feel that way, no matter what we do. You know, I mean, I think that's just part of being a coach. But I don't want us to get ever to the point where we're like, you know what, second's about the best we can do. I don't believe that. I'm going to continue to push this team and continue to keep the standard as high as possible. I don't care if we're going against Oklahoma State or whoever it is. We have to have that mentality as a team and as a group, and I just don't want that to creep in at all. But I have to say I'm proud of our team and how they competed. But I said the only thing I'll say is second is better than third.
In some of the other regionals or conference tournaments to qualify for the NCAA, there were a number of medical forfeits.
Yeah.
Did you have some of that at the Big 12s? And just your thoughts on guys who know they've punched their ticket to the NCAA finals and then they medical forfeit out?
Yeah. Well, our whole season's for the national tournament. And the conference tournament, you get there, so, I mean, what's the difference? Obviously, I don't think guys make a practice of it just to get out of thing, or I'm trying to protect a seat. I know sometimes guys get to that, but, man, if you're beat up a little bit, I mean, why do they have to wrestle? You know, I think the way things are set now with seeding, too, and with the way it is with points, it lends itself more to it now than it used to because, you know, before it wouldn't be on a point system, so okay, well, this guy forfeited out, maybe he's going to go here instead of, they already know, man, I already know. I mean, you can punch the numbers in and pretty much know, hey, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be here. So I think that's part of it. I think that kids have wrestled so much, they've competed so much that, and they don't always need the extra matches either. You know, I mean, some of these guys I think Albert told me he's wrestled like 1,200 matches in his career already. So you think he needs another 1 or 2 matches is really going to make the difference? You know, sometimes it's about being healthy, and maybe in some of those situations they are protecting their guys because they know what's best for their athlete. I mean, I could tell you personally, unless our guys is injured, and hey, it's absolutely the best thing for him because he's injured, and protect him that way. That's really the only way we'll do it. I think our guys should go out and compete, but in that situation, and they're probably looking at what is there really to win. I mean, in Nolf's situation, he qualified. He's just coming back from an injury. He looked pretty good. What's it going to help me? I'm still going to probably be the 2 seed, or maybe I'll still be the 1 seed. What's the difference? I mean, that's how I'd probably look at it too. I'm going to get him ready for 10 more days and get him 10 more days of recuperation. But I know there's a lot of talk about it right now because it's happening, but it's going to happen with the system that we have, and they can get in and then they can kind of shut off. I got points and I'll still be seated here. It's not I think they'll probably try to, and I'm kind of getting long-winded. I know everyone's ready to leave, but I think that they'll probably start to address it if it continues to happen at that level. All right, thanks. I tried, Michelle. Trying.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Have a great week. Go Panthers.
That raises